Strange characters and funny accents have helped make Bronson Pinchot a star. People first noticed him as Serge, the art gallery clerk in Beverly Hills Cop. Then came the role of Balki in the TV series Perfect Strangers.
Paul, you haven't had a date in 4 weeks, and then Balki, the immigrant sheep herder who doesn't even know what fork to eat his soup with, comes home with a beautiful woman, and I think that you're just a little bit blue with envy.
Now he is acting here in New York in the Russian play Zoya's Apartment. When I spoke with Pinchot recently, I asked him what it was like to work with a Russian director who spoke little English.
You know, when I first heard that it was going to be a Russian director, I thought it was going to be pretty general, and I just jumped in pretty much in the same spirit that the only thing I could compare it to was when I learned the flying trapeze for Circus of the Stars. I thought, I may fall and break my neck, or I may look like an idiot in the stupid leotard, with, but whatever it is, I want to try it once in my life. And I thought this was going to be the same thing. I thought, no matter how smart this guy is, he's going to sit there and say, and have a cloak on, around his shoulders and look like Diaghilev. I didn't know what it was going to be. It turned out, I didn't count on him being, really as bright and courageous as he was. But despite, his focus was so strong, he was actually able to get into, tiny little nuances and emotional twists and turns that he knew. He instinctively knew if we were on the track or off the track, even verbally. So it was a much different experience than I could have.
It's a Russian play, yet amazingly, you speak with what accent?
I speak with my own accent.
Right. Which is ironic for you because we know you. So much of you is hearing all these other voices.
Right. Yeah. Well, that appeals to my sense of the perverse, because I knew I was going to come to New York and do a Russian play, and it's funny because when there was some pre-publicity, you would read occasionally in the papers, oh, Bronson's rehearsing this play, oh, he looks so Russian, and I thought, no Russian would say that, only an American would say it. And the American concept of what Russian is, as a matter of fact, when the play was reviewed, even though the people darn well knew it was directed by a Russian who is deeply Russian in his soul, and it was helped by a lot of other Russians. They said, Pinchot really isn't Russian enough. And I thought, well, what do you know? You're sitting there with your love handles writing this. Russians think it's Russian enough, and there's a funny, there's a strange sort of Mel Brooks sense of what Russian is.
Yeah, unless it's a caricature, how can it be what?
If you and I shut our mouths and two people that never watch TV looked at us, they probably think that you were the Russian instead of me. I actually am half Russian by, in blood, but what is Russian? It's been interesting figuring out.
Let's talk about Balki for a second. When does Balki burn out?
Balki. It's short for balcony. It's not Belky.
Sorry.
That's okay.
When does Balki burn out? Is it 4 years already that
we've done it? I've been doing it for 4 years. I don't think burnout is going to happen all at once. It happens to me intermittently. There are times when I just want to kill somebody. And then there are other times when I feel like I could do it forever. It's really rather a lot like sex. There are times when you just think, oh yes, I'm ready, and there are times when you think, I'd really rather not have you touch me there right now, honey. If you can understand that. It's just, except the difference is that, I have to do it whether I feel like it every Friday night or every Thursday night when we shoot, and I don't have to have sex when I don't want to, really. But it's see,
I was trying to think if there's a professional parallel in here somewhere.
See, acting is like sex. It really is. The horror of acting is that you have to get turned on and turn the audience on sometimes when you don't feel like it, which is the place where it's different. But other than that, it's pretty much the same.
The other thing that we admire you a lot for is your voice.
My name is Serge.
And Balki, and especially when we first saw you as Serge. Do you know that? Do you have just extraordinary ears, or are you a good mimic, or what is it that helps you do all of those things?
Well, Serge was mimicry, because I was actually mimicking somebody that I had met that I thought would help me achieve that character without too much headache. Because I had a little bit of trepidation. I think they were looking, despite their, worthwhile intentions, for sort of a stereotyped, effeminate thing, and I've always found that kind of sad in movies, any kind of stereotype. And so I thought, well, instead of trying to, say, well, I want my wrists like this, and I want my head like this, and I just picked one person that I knew, and it was a woman, and did kind of an out-and-out mimicry of her through, I mean, and through the actions of what was written. And that worked. But Balki has nothing to do with mimicry. Balki is kind of just an opening up of the brain and a funneling in of everything I've ever heard that I thought worked for him. And I keep adding to it.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Congratulations on all that's going on.
Thank you.